Hello everybody, thank you for tuning in to another episode of notanalog.com. Today I'm looking at the Blackberry 9900 Bold. Now this is the latest from RIM. It is the best Blackberry they've ever brought out. I'm going to say that right now before we even keep going and looking at the phone. What I'll tell you a little bit about it though, let's give you some background on how this device really came to be. A bit of walk back in time as well, because this is the Bold 9000, which was released many years ago. However, looking at these two side by side, they're very, very much the same. Just by having a glance anyway, you'll see one of the biggest changes between them is one of them has the trackball, the other one has the trackpad. The trackball always got stuck, so they eventually replaced that with the pad. That's where that came from. Obviously the screen, everyone loves the full-size keyboard. That was one of the huge successes of the Bold. And you can see they've kept the keyboard almost the exact same as well. Everything else, all the buttons all look very similar. On the side, volume rocker, camera button, simple. On the top, the lock mechanism is the same, the mute button back then. And on the other side, you'll see the 3.5mm headphone jack, the charging adapter, which has changed a little bit from mini USB to micro USB. It used to have a second convenience key, now it doesn't, and it also used to have the micro SD card slot on the side. This one actually has it inside underneath the back door. And at the bottom, nothing really different except the case button used to be here, so taking off the back cover used to be there, and you know what, that was one of the biggest places where it used to fail, so they've moved it. On the back, it used to be like a bit of a leathery feel, and now it looks like a bit of a plastic carbon fiber. And you'll see the camera flash, and camera is still there. Not a huge change, however, this has now got a touchscreen. This one didn't have touchscreen. And if we look at the Torch, you'll see that this is where they tried to combine the best of both worlds. They had a touchscreen phone with the keypad. Not everyone likes sliding up and down to do it, so I guess they decided to do the device just for people who are hardcore Blackberry users like myself, and who still want to be able to touch the screen as well. So there was a little bit of changes there. Just a little bit to squeeze in as well. They had the 9700 in between the 9000 and the Torch. You can see that's where they put the trackpad. Design changed a whole lot. It was a lot thinner. The keyboard was a little bit smaller though, so maybe that's where they decided to phase that out. So what I'll do is I'm going to give you guys a huge rundown. Obviously the internals of these are completely different as well. A lot has changed since then. I'm going to give you guys a look into the new Blackberry 7 OS, show you what that's like, because then I'm also going to introduce you to the 9860. Now the 9860 is pretty much this phone, but with all screen. So there's no slide up keyboard, there's nothing at all. It is purely a touchscreen with the standard Blackberry buttons. I'll give you guys a rundown of this and this right now. Alright, so here is the 9900. Now just to give you guys some information about this device, I will tell you a few things. It is only 10.5mm thin. It only weighs 130 grams. It's got 768 meg of RAM, 1.2 gigahertz processor, 640 by 480 resolution. It does 720p recording on the back. It's a 5 megapixel camera, and this is to me the best Blackberry they've ever brought out, and I'm going to show you why. So you can see this is Blackberry 7, so I'm controlling from the touchpad, however I can also control from the screen. I'm a huge touchpad fan. I actually probably don't use the screen as much as I really need to. But looking at it, you can see the icons look a little bit refreshed than what they used to. The Facebook app is obviously improved. These are application issues, not Blackberry things. The browser is somewhat improved, however it's much the same. Still no flash enabled, obviously. A lot of things have just been upgraded. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the screen, because I think it's quite impressive. So obviously, turn it down. The screen has improved a lot. It is so sharp and so bright. I mean, it's maybe not coming through that well on here, but it's something that is worth mentioning. It is very, very snappy to use. I took a few photos with it as well, and you know, say for example, I went to a bakery today, and you can see I can still do pinch to zoom on the phone, and the clarity is actually very good, and the response of the touch screen is great. You can really notice the processing difference between the two. I can obviously still flick between images. You know, it really is all the benefits of the torch, but without having to slide the keyboard up. And for me, that's just what I wanted. Otherwise, you know, the calendar is obviously still very BlackBerry. BBM has improved a little bit. You know, and now it's actually become a thing called BlackBerry Connected. So a lot of your applications actually have BBM features within them. So you could be in an app and start BBMing with your friends, or share your location on BBM and things like that, which is really quite cool. You notice that like Foursquare has got BBM Connected now and things like that. So there is a lot more which has improved. However, if you've used a torch or used BB6, OS 6, it's not a huge difference, to be honest. If you're not using it on a corporate setup and you're using BlackBerry Protect, you can now use BlackBerry Balance as well. However, as a standard, it really is much of a muchness. One of the things I need to mention, because I noticed it today and I was very disappointed, this camera button. So let me just go into camera mode and show you something. Now, if I gently press the camera button, it just takes an image. Obviously that's great because it's very fast to do so, and I appreciate that, but there's no more autofocus. The camera does not autofocus anymore, and I am quite upset by this. The Torch was able to autofocus, the 9700 was able to autofocus, so very disappointed that it can't do that. If I open up the back cover real quick, let's remove that, you'll see the NFC section on the back of the case, and you'll see the little contacts here. You can see where they've buried the micro SD slot. I actually can't remove that card without removing the battery, so you can't really hot swap cards. In previous Blackberries you could. I'm a little bit disappointed by that, but it's not that often that I really do it anyway. I do hope that these little connectors, which actually where you plug the case back in, I hope that they hold up, because to tell you, that's one of the things which used to fail on the 9000. I don't want it to do that anymore. So let me put this one away. Let's move on to the 9860. So this one I'm not using as my personal phone, the other one I was, so I don't really have a whole lot set up on here, but much of a muchness. One of the things I will give credit to BlackBerry about is that you can use it in landscape mode. Now, and that's for every application and everything which you do on it. Obviously, yes, iPhones and HTC phones, Android phones, can go in landscape mode for some features, but just for scrolling through icons, I think that is actually brilliant. Because if I'm in landscape mode, I can keep going in landscape mode, use my applications, and not have to worry about turning it up and down all the time. It's just a pet peeve of mine. Again, I'm going to just go through here. Let me dive into sample wallpapers. This is another fast phone. It does run the exact same specs as the 9900. However, it doesn't have the keyboard, and for me that's a problem. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to show you a quick video. This screen as well is extremely clear. You know, the performance of this is actually very good. Let me slide this across. Not much lag at all. It really does perform well. And yes, you can hopefully see the performance of the screen. What I want to show you though is some typing. So let me just go into here and compose. Yes, I want to create. Yeah, I know that. Oh, come on. So look at the keyboard here. I will hit 1,000 buttons before I get anything right on this. However, if I turn it this way, up, I have it set up with multiple keys, like the old Pearls used to be, just because it is too thin to really be using it as a keyboard. I just don't think that if I enable the full keyboard, I am not going to get anything right here. It is just way too cramped. I can't see myself using it properly. The other issue I noticed was if I go into the browser and I want to type an address, they've made the spacebar the dot. Fair enough, but where's the .com button? Can I have a .com button in there instead? Maybe instead of the 123 button, because I'm not typing that many addresses with numbers, and it's just so cramped. If I turn it sideways, it is better. However, that is almost a useless keyboard. That is just way too thin. The buttons are too small. It's just not spaced out enough. Which is why I prefer the physical keyboard. I'm a physical keyboard kind of guy. So I'm going to show you around this device, because I don't think I really did that already, have I? So at the top is the lock button. On the side, just the micro USB port. At the bottom, nothing. We have the standard buttons for BlackBerry at the top here with the touchpad. Interesting to have a touchpad there since that it's all touchscreen anyway, but it's so be it. And the 3.5mm jack. On the back, same camera and a flash. This one has a little button to take the case off, and there's the battery, and there's the micro SD slot. So I like this, actually like a bit of a harder steel plate. What I will say though, just bring these two side by side, one of the key differences also between them, this one has 8 gig of internal storage, this one has 4. No micro SD card, no micro SD card. They both have the slots though, so it's interesting. You know, from my personal point of view, I don't think that this is a very solid device. I personally wouldn't own one. I would always go for the full keyboard and the proper bold, the real BlackBerry, the BlackBerry for enthusiasts, I call it. I'm going to switch back and give you some final thoughts. Okay, so you've had a look at the two devices. There's the two BlackBerries which have come out. I'm a big fan of the 9900. I just can't fall in love with the 9860. It's just not me. It's a personal thing. I love physical keyboards. I don't like touching screens to type. I don't think it works. However, both really good phones in their own right. Congratulations to BlackBerry. You've produced a solid unit. I really think this is good quality. I think it pleases me, and I know it pleases me because it's my day-to-day phone. I bought this phone. It's not a review unit. I own this phone, and I love it. So it's hard for me to put too much bad comments about it. However, simple things. No autofocus on the camera. Why? Like, why? Why? What? You don't want us to take good photos? If I put the camera close to this, I'm not going to get a good photo. It's going to look blurry. That's not good. That bothers me. The hidden micro SD slot. Well, what happens? Do people play with other people's phones and pinch micro SD cards? Are we that security conscious, or is it just a design thing? I don't know. I mean, look at the 9000. It had the little door on the side. It was brilliant. You just pop it in, pop it out. It was so simple. And that's a little disappointing for me. But you know, you have a look at where things have gone, or how things have come along. It's interesting because that's how it was many years ago, and that's where it is now. Is this the evolution of BlackBerry? Have they come a long way? I mean, they look identical almost. Some people will say it's a bad thing that it doesn't look that different. Maybe they aren't evolving enough. I kind of think it's a good thing. I mean, they're kind of creating what people want. What people wanted was the big keyboard. They want the full keyboard. They want the touchpad because they know it's reliable. They want it to be thin and lightweight, which it is, 130 grams. The other one's 135. Sorry, I didn't mention. It's lightweight, it's thin, it looks sexy, it looks really good. I think BlackBerry's made the right choice by making this device. The Torch, this is my personal phone not so long ago. I'm so glad to not be using it anymore. It wasn't until I moved to this one that I realized how much I hated this phone. This really is the best BlackBerry ever, and if you're in the business of typing a lot of emails or a lot of SMSs and you tend to use things like that a lot, this is just the bee's knees. I can't pick a device which is better than this at the moment for that purpose. For emailing, I'm a hardcore emailer, I like to tweet a lot. That's the best device for me. I don't use a lot of apps, so the whole tiny app store of BlackBerry isn't a huge issue. You know, they don't have a lot of apps there, let's be honest. The whole BBM connected thing, yeah, not a big deal. But this is fast, this is a quality build, and I'm back where I want to be with the big full-size keyboard and decent screen. It's thin, it's lightweight, I'm happy. I'm going to stop rambling on because I sound like a BlackBerry fanboy, and I'm not. I'm open, I've reviewed other phones. Anyway, if you have any questions, send me an email. Hit me up on Twitter, actually. I'm on Twitter regularly with the BlackBerry. I have a Facebook page, you can join me on there. Do whatever you like. Subscribe to me on YouTube and we can talk there as well. I'm trying to be everywhere, so if you have any questions or if you need any advice, even if you're a business and you're looking at rolling a BlackBerry out, you don't know which one to pick because there's now 3 different business style phones in the market, hit me up, let's talk. Thanks for watching, guys. Speak soon.